Spring savings are in the air and at Ross, where they have savings on all the brands you love. From the latest fashion to outdoor decor and even pet supplies, savings are in every aisle. Go to Ross and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices on your favorite spring finds.
The Hoover Dam wasn't built in a day, and the GMC Sierra lineup wasn't built overnight. Like every American achievement, building the Sierra 1500 Heavy Duty and EV was the result of dedication. A dedication to mastering the art of engineering. That's what this country has done for 250 years and what GMC has done for over 100. We are professional grade. Visit GMC.com to learn more. Assembled in Flint and Hamtramck, Michigan and Fort Wayne, Indiana of U.S. and globally sourced parts.
This is Optimal Work Daily. Why Good Grades Often Lead to Failed Businesses, Part 2 by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com. Grades force you to conform to someone else's style. Getting good grades also requires you to conform to your professor's way of thinking. This is especially true for classes that are fuzzy and require you to write papers as part of your final grade. I took an art history class my freshman year in college where the final grade was based on 2 essay exams that were taken in the middle and at the end of the term. I took a keen interest in this class, and for my first midterm exam, I decided to write an essay that captured my own interpretations of the art. I wrote a pretty good essay that compared and contrasted my views to that of the professor. While I mostly agreed with the professor's points, I also provided arguments that contradicted him as well. This resulted in a B-. Fearing a bad grade, I decided to not make the same mistake on the final. For the final essay, I wrote a canned paper that essentially regurgitated the lectures. I used similar terminology that the professor used in describing the paintings. I used verbiage like resilient suppleness and textured reasoning, both phrases that would normally never come out of my mouth. I got an A on the final and for the class, but what did I learn? I learned that I had to imitate someone else to do well. Grades teach you to plug and chug. Sometimes getting an A requires no brain power at all. This is especially true for classes such as math, where various formulas are used to obtain an answer. Because many classes don't emphasize the applications, getting an A often entails plugging a bunch of numbers into a formula. Sure, the teacher derives the formula for you, but unless you have context for what the equations are used for, you often end up plugging and chugging to get the answer. Now, why would you use your brain when you can simply use a canned method to obtain the answer? How many of you actually remember calculus or differential equations from college? How many of you actually know when and how to use it? Solving problems based on formulas is problematic because it trains you to see the world in terms of right and wrong answers. It makes you less likely to take action unless you have all of the information. Grades force you to complete rather than collaborate. I remember being shocked when I discovered that my college classes were all graded on a curve. For my freshman physics class, my professor outright announced to the class that only 10% of us were going to get an A. What did this do to my mentality? Immediately, it put me into competition mode. I didn't try to help anyone out with their problem sets, nor did I collaborate with anyone on the assignments. As far as I was concerned, it was every man for himself, and I carried this frame of mind into business for the longest time. Grades and entrepreneurship. When I look back at my high school and college career, I fully understand the need to assign grades to students, but the skills required to get straight A's in school are not conducive to success in less structured environments like the business world, where there is no set path. Now, I'm not an expert in education, but what I can say is that thinking outside the box, nonconformity, and collaboration are the pillars of entrepreneurship. There is no magic formula for success, and in order to succeed, you have to stand out from the pack and make up your own rules. Here's the irony of my life. I spent 16 years following a rigid set of guidelines, trying to please everyone and fit in with my peers, when the complete opposite is what made me successful in business. When I graduated from college, grades were the only thing that I was good at. I was great at following rules and not making them, which made me second-guess myself a lot. Am I doing this the right way? How are other people doing it? Am I even qualified to do this? For example, when I first started writing for mywifequitherjob.com, I tried to blend in with other blogs in my niche. I avoided controversy at all costs, and I mimicked other popular authors. I was afraid of upsetting anyone with my writing, and I copied other people because I was searching for rules to follow and role models to imitate. It took me several years, but I eventually learned to trust my own voice and worry less about rejection, and that's when my blog really started taking off. Anyway, here's my dilemma with my own kids. On the one hand, I want my kids to get good grades in order to develop a great work ethic. But on the other hand, I don't want them turning into mindless, grade-grubbing robots that can't think outside of the box. I also don't want them to fear rejection like I did for many years. And it's a delicate balance that I'm still trying to figure out. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled, Why Good Grades Often Lead to Failed Businesses by Steve Chou of mywifequitherjob.com.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why the new MyBiz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with MyBiz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit verizon.com/business to get started today. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes autopay and paper-free billing and special intro offer discounts. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge, and terms apply. Offers end June 10th, 2025.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase of 16 weeks, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
And thank you again to Steve. And one thing that I didn't mention yesterday in my comments about him is that he also started his own podcast. It's called the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast with Steve Chou, and it's all about entrepreneurs who quit their jobs to start successful online businesses. Through a series of personal interviews, Steve uncovers the exact strategies that led to their success. Again, it's called the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast with Steve Chou, and you can find that wherever you get your podcasts. But that's going to do it for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and that you'll be back with me here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.